Welcome to my world. Come on in and make yourselves at home. Welcome to my life. I know everything's gonna be all right. Welcome to my world. Oh, won't you come on in? Welcome to my life. It's known as the Tiger's Den. Greetings to all of my subscribers. I want to thank you for being with me for as long as you have, and the new subscribers that's coming on in. We want to say greetings and thank you for your time. This is from Toothless and the moderators. Welcome to the Tiger's Den. I believe the children are future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us who we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I failed, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of takes you to a lonely place, find yourself in love. Greetings and welcome to the Tiger's Den. This is the voice of Cheryl, and I am Toothless Tiger. I hope everybody is being safe and warm tonight. It is extremely cold throughout the United States. It's extremely cold in Dallas, and I saw a moment ago on Instagram where we have our first snowfalls in Grand Prairie, Texas. I want to say greetings to Maria, so Alicia, Izetta, greetings. Anybody in the bushes, the trees, the beach, the snow, the ice, the sky, the cruise ship, wherever you may be. Thank you for joining me. As you know, that I've been doing a series on affirmative action, on how we're treated as a people, the destructions of our families, and just a myriad of things to help us kind of understand where we are, what's going on, how can we do something different in honor of Dr. Martin Luther King, because it is his birthday as we celebrate tomorrow. Phyllis has gone to one of the celebrations at one of our symphony halls in honor of Dr. King. And so she may join us before I go off. She may not. But Dr. King says, darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that. And that is Strength to Love, 1963. He said, quote, I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality. I believe that too. And that's why I do what I do. You know, you think when I first came to YouTube, I only had 3 subscribers, had no idea what I was doing, still don't, but as y'all can tell, I found out how to do a little something. I've been learning how to make thumbnails. I've found some music inside of YouTube Studio that's, copyright free. And I don't know if you all can hear it. I'm going to cut it up a little bit. And y'all let me know if it's too loud. It should be playing, but I don't see it playing. But I found some different music. So let me know if it's too loud. And let me know how my mic is doing. I don't know what's been happening with my mic, but it's been acting up a little bit. I want to thank y'all for hitting the like button upon entering the Tiger's Den. And we're going to go to our topic, which is affirmative action. First, I want to thank each of you that had an opportunity to look at my video in reference to the Honorable Congresswoman Eddie Bernice Johnson. If you haven't had an opportunity to look at it, I ask all to look at it because it's something that's very serious. It's something that I've been talking about for the last 2 or 3 weeks. And it's how we, as Asiatic women, Asiatic being people that are known as black, how we're treated in medicine, in childbirth. And I really believe that if this can happen to a congresswoman with the best insurance that life has to offer, served over 30 years in Congress, and even more than that in the politics of Dallas, Texas. She was my congresswoman. And she had some first that everybody loves to brag on the first. Okay. Let me see if I can make it a little bit louder. Let me know if you can hear the music now, Alicia, and if it's too loud for my voice, or if it's pretty much even. Can you hear it, Alicia? It's real nice and smooth, so let me know if you can hear it. But if this can happen to a congresswoman and we're not outraged, I am very saddened by that. I added quite a few people when I made my video. I've only seen one that has covered the story, and I was very, very happy about him covering the story, and that was indisputable for Dr. Ritchie. Now, I can't say if my ad did it. I want to believe that it did, because I added him at 4 a.m. that morning, and around 11 or so a.m., I saw the story that he did, and it was quite a great story. Of course, anybody that would do a story would be a great story because of her service and her being the first. Okay, that's great. Let me know if it's too loud for my voice. But she was one of those people that sat in the rooms that made some of the decisions that helped us to achieve affirmative action. Thank you, Alicia. And so I really wish that we as a people were more interested in really what's happening to us on a daily basis than tearing each other down and apart. But of course, that's what we love, and we were trained to be like that, so I can't do anything about that. All I can do is spread the message and hope one day somebody would want to know something about why we're in the condition that we're in, and look at one of my videos and learn something and share it with someone else. Until then, I'll just keep letting my light shine, spreading the good news that I know. Most of the time now I'm reading as opposed to just talking to you one-on-one, because some of these things I'm learning myself. I didn't know them. Thank you, Maria. Yeah, I just started doing some things throughout the week and going through the YouTube studio and looking at their music and just seeing the kind that I like, and hopefully that you guys will like, just to do what I can, because I'm not going to do much. I don't have the strength or the energy to do much. But the little bit that I can do with the imagination and creativity that I do have, I'm going to try to share it with you guys. Just like you all support me. And I want to thank you all for being members and supporting me throughout your Cash Apps and your Super Chats. They mean the world to me. But as we started, when we first did affirmative action, I talked about what affirmative action was. Okay? So now we're going to talk about the impact of affirmative action. The impact of affirmative action, and I'm going to also share it on the screen. So if you guys want to look at it, you can. And what I do is I like to put it on a Word document, because a lot of the sites that you go to, they want you to become members. They will allow you to look at the article, but they want you to become members. And I just don't have enough to be members to everything that's on YouTube. So I hope you guys can hear me well. I can't really see the screen if y'all trying to tell me something. So I'm going to do it like this. Impact of affirmative action. Affirmative action. Affirmative action refers to policies and practices that seek to uplift marginalized communities. Hey, Asatar. And I'll explain what marginalized communities are a little later in the article. Definition. John Stott defines affirmative action, also positive discrimination, as policies and practices that favor groups, mainly ethnic groups and women, who have historically experienced disadvantages, usually in the fields of employment and education. 2014. And then he gives an example. Targeted promotions. Many corporations will look at their employee profiles and see that there is an over representation of advantaged social groups within the marginal group. As a result, they may only open up internal promotions for people from disadvantaged social groups, such as women or racial minorities. And you have to know, when you hear women and racial minorities, they are separating us from the European woman. So when you hear woman, they're not speaking of us. They always qualify us with an adjective by saying African American or black, or they will say Latino or Latina, or they will say Hispanic or Mexican. So when you hear woman, don't just get real excited as if they're considering you, because you're not being considered in that way. And this is not information, this is fact, this is history, and this is real. And so we need to understand who we are, where we come from, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. It's important that we sit down and think about these things, because they really do impact our lives. So far, I'm having a fantastic cold Sunday, Asatar. Here are the benefits of affirmative action. Affirmative action is beneficial not only to the target groups, but also to the wider society, which becomes much more representative and equal. Affirmative action has the following benefits. Redresses past injustices. It is a way of redressing past injustices. For example, slavery in the United States led to centuries of subjugation of African people. The present state of African Americans, higher poverty rate, unemployment, etc., is directly linked to this exploitative history. Affirmative action tries to correct historical injustices by providing groups with greater opportunities. We must also get it in our minds that we were already here. We are the original people indigenous to this land, and we need to start researching so that we can see the history of that. We cannot allow other people to continue to tell our story. We must tell our own story. We used to be people that passed our histories down by word of mouth. Well, I'm 65, so a lot of the seniors are passing on. And if you didn't have an opportunity to talk to your seniors in your family, then you may not know a lot of your history. Most of us all used to say how we were, what do we call ourselves? Part Indian. When you learn the history of Indian and how the word came about, and how we have linguistics that includes morphology and phonology, we will understand that a lot of words are just morphed into another word. I urge you to just listen and just try it out. Ask Google a few questions and start researching. And you will find that this is not far-fetched. You know, when we used to try to teach our history, we were stopped. And a lot of times, platforms such as this will say misinformation. We know that's not true. I've read too many papers, government papers, universities, where people have studied us, and that's what they do. And they know our history. Unfortunately, we don't know our history, and we don't value our history, nor do we value ourselves. So we only get pleasure out of entertainment, the type of entertainment that tear each other down. That's not what it's about. We have children to rear. We have children that we're depending on to be our future congresswomen and congressmen, our doctors and our lawyers. If we are to see any changes in any system, we have to have individuals that are capable of being in those rooms and having the conversations and the ability to make the decisions to change the status quo. It starts with us. Enhanced access for the marginalized. Affirmative action increases access to education and bridges inequalities in employment. Universities can reserve a certain percentage of their seats for marginalized students, as was done by the University of California in 2006, which led to greater representation of African American and Latino students. Similarly, through affirmative action programs and practices, companies can help underrepresented groups gain better opportunities. Seek out diverse talents. Finally, affirmative action would help our entire society by bringing forward talented people from all sections. Our state, institutional, and professional leadership will benefit from the diversity of individuals. It would also use to learn from the histories, cultures, and practices of various groups. Now, I saw a sad story today, and it was of a university professor who was bullied and harassed to the point that she decided that she could not bear anymore, and she's no longer with us. A beautiful Asiatic sister. And it saddens me to know what she had to go through. I cannot even imagine. I know the bullying, harassment, and stalking that I faced, but mine is through the internet. She had to go to work with this every day, and it became unbearable. It is on YouTube, and I would suggest you guys take a look at the video. Criticisms of affirmative action despite the benefits of affirmative action. Many criticize it for being ineffective and unfair. The main points of criticism include, get this, reverse discrimination. Isn't that something? Many people see affirmative action as a form of institutionalized reverse discrimination. They argue that it replaces old wrongs with new wrongs. So they're saying giving us an opportunity is new wrongs. Okay. Increasing race tensions instead of bringing reconciliation. They say it's increasing race tensions, but we have laws inside of laws to keep us from advancing. Okay. It benefits the most privileged people within minority groups while ignoring the less fortunate within majority groups. That was said by Gary in 2006. Yes, it starts with our youth, so Alicia. Mismatching. Critics of affirmative action use the term mismatching to argue that such policies get students into educational institutions that are too difficult for them and lead to higher dropout rates. They point out that without affirmative action, a student will go to a college that matches their ability and have a good chance at graduating. Could that be the HBCUs that nobody supports? And this is not bitterness. This is not anger. This is reality. And we need to start calling a thing and quit pretending like everything is okay. Because everything is not okay. And we live it every day. So Alicia said, yes, my grandma was full of knowledge. And we have to hold on to that knowledge that they impart in us and then pass it on to someone under us so that we can keep it going. That's how we grow. We got to have the real conversations. Not the ones that are laid out for us. Inefficiency. Some believe that affirmative action promotes inefficiency by reducing the incentive to work. Beneficiaries may feel that it is not necessary to work hard, and even non-beneficiaries may be demotivated if they see hard work as futile. Sewell, 2004. The Black Economic Empowerment Policy was criticized because it led to disproportionately high costs for small companies and reduced economic growth. So that's a kind of way to keep us from having that entrepreneurial spirit where they teach their young to be entrepreneurs. They're guided toward trade. Most of the fathers own the company, and so they're just grandfathered in. Whereas we're taught to work very well for other people. Do we ever question why is that? We have so many brilliant minds, so much creativity. Just look at the people on YouTube that know how to do beats, that know how to do the graphics, the art. So Alicia that sings, plays guitar. So many people know how to do so many different things. But for whatever reason, they're not here teaching these things, showing others that it can be done, showing them how to do it. No, instead, we'd rather just laugh at each other's pain and see who can say the worst thing about one another and put out the worst information that we can find on one another. That's so disheartening for me. I didn't sign up for that. Conclusion. Affirmative action includes policies and practices that seek to increase the representation of marginalized groups in education, employment, and other fields. It can be implemented through various methods, such as quotas, modification of selection criteria, etc. Affirmative action aims to undo past injustices and create a more equal society. However, critics see it as a form of reverse discrimination and question its effectiveness. And then they give us some references. Those are the references. And this young man, Sarab Yadav, has an MA, and Chris Drew are the contributors to these articles. So I went on to say, well, we talk about marginalized groups. What does that mean? So what does marginalized mean, and why does it matter? When thinking of the word margin, one might consider the margins of a piece of paper. Therefore, when thinking of the verb marginalized, one might consider how it describes the action of pushing away from the center towards the outside. The word marginalized has come a long way from its original definition. Today, marginalized refers to the act of treating a person or a group as though they are insignificant by isolating and or disempowering them. The term marginalized describes the person or group that is being treated insignificantly, pushed to the margins of society, and rendered powerless. Hi, Regina M. Good to see you. What is a marginalized group? Glad you asked, because I want you to focus, if you can, on this graph here that they gave us for the marginalized groups. It starts with gender. Now, if you remember, from the beginning, in the inception, affirmative action was one of the ways that it was supposed to help us as a people become a part of a normal society. We are the people that created civilization, but yet and still, we are still treated as being uncivilized. So affirmative action was supposed to be a way for us, and we can go with the 13th and the 14th Amendment, that gave us a right to be. Hello, Dark Knight. Good to see you. But I want you to see how they have moved us and others to the bottom of the graph. So, demographic, gender, women, non-binary, and gender, non-conforming. That's the marginalized group. The non-marginalized group, you notice they just call them men. So what do they mean by that when you just say men? Certainly it does not include my son, because they always give him an adjective before they'll ever call him a man. Sexual orientation, that's the demographic. And all of this is what marginalized is. I wish I could say not necessarily in this order, but I can't say that. The marginalized group: asexual, bisexual, fluid, gay, lesbian, queer, questioning, two-spirit. Over here, it says heterosexual. So that could be, could it be all of us that are not in that group? I think not. But let me keep going. Disability. Marginalized group has a disability. Non-marginalized group does not have a disability. Demographic. Indigenous. Marginalized group is indigenous. Non-marginalized group is not indigenous. And you see, there was no separation there for the Indian and the African American or the Asiatic male that and female that is indigenous to this land. Asatar said one of my Armenian players got into University of California in 2006 because of affirmative action. That's a good thing, because our next section, which will not be tonight, will be the end of affirmative action and what the Supreme Court has done. While we're tearing each other down on YouTube and having fun, degrading one another, the world is going on. And before we know it, if we don't know where we came from, we will certainly end up on that same street again. I guarantee it. And the last demographic, race, ethnicity. The marginalized group, it says black, which is civilly dead in the eyes of the law. Caribbean, Asian, Indigenous, Latin American, and Middle Eastern. And then the non-marginalized it just says white, which is a legal status as well. But you see, they know from which they come. So they know that they came from Switzerland, or they came from Ireland, or they came from Poland, or they came from Europe. So they know who they are. And they love to tell you the stories of old as from where they came, and how their grandparents or their fathers or their mothers came for a better chance at life. You were already here. You were here when they came. But you don't get the same opportunities. And nobody seems to ask themselves why. It's got to get better. Marginalized groups include women, people with disabilities, people of color, LGBTQ plus folks, indigenous peoples, people of a lower socioeconomic status, and so on. These groups have been historically disempowered and oppressed by influential and discriminatory groups. These are the things we can't talk about, because they said that now we're doing reverse discrimination by acknowledging the wrong, not participating in the wrong. We're just acknowledging the wrong and looking for solutions to make it equal. This table shows an example of marginalized groups from the perspective of USA, Canada, and other countries. What we first must understand, that Canada and USA, as they call it, and Mexico all share the very same continents. So we got to get that in our heads. The way we're taught, we're not taught nation per se. We're taught as if the United States of America is just this place where the United States resides. But no, that's not true. We do have Canada and we do have Mexico. And all of it is America. And then we say they need to go back home and stay over there, when all of this is our land. We're all the same people. One day, we're going to recognize that. You know, scientists study us. They do DNA testing. You know, they talk about our blood and our mitochondria DNA, which they have us thinking that the blood line goes with the father, that it flows from the mother and the mitochondria. Regina said, doesn't some of these so-called reports make you question everything? Who are these people going around the different countries collecting non-biased, non-discriminatory data and presenting as facts? Yes, it does. It really does make you question everything. And it makes you wonder, who are those people? Especially if you're interested in your people and in you and in your future. We say the children are our future, but we're letting them learn the exact same thing that we learned. And then we found out that most of our leaders found out. They were leading us straight to slaughter. It's written about. We read about it. Preachers preach about it. But we won't do anything about it. We accept it as that's just the way it's supposed to be. No, it's not. No, it is not. It's supposed to be equal for everybody. We all share the same DNA, to be real honest. We all do. That are human. We got to get out of this craziness. We got to get away from this talking about classism when there is no money. The Constitution tells us money is silver and gold. That's what you use to pay debts. We have none. But we have a whole lot of debt, we're told. Wonder why is that? Keep listening. The causes of marginalization. Marginalization is the result of discrimination. Discrimination exists in many forms, such as racism, sexism, ableism, ageism, homophobia, and xenophobia. There are also more subtle forms of discrimination, like microaggressions and stereotypes. Whether or not the discrimination is overt or covert, it marginalizes others, and that is unacceptable. Marginalization in the workplace. In the workplace, the person or group that perpetuates marginalization is likely one that is influential and holds power. They may have little or no connection to marginalized groups. The person or group that is marginalized are likely disempowered and lack the necessary influence to contest their marginalization. I don't know why I keep messing up these words. Their marginalization. At work, marginalization can come in the form of assumptions based on stereotypes, unequal access to necessary resources on the basis of identity, racist speech and actions, purposefully isolating a person or group, singling a person or group out on the basis of identity, microaggressions, gaslighting, and taking credit for someone else's idea or work. Boy, do they still do that? Yes, they do. And when you sign with most companies, you know, they have you sign a piece of paper to let you know that if you come up with any great ideas, that they belong to the company and not you. That's still happening today. When you just ask Google, who invented this, who invented that, who invented this, who invented that, they all look like you and me. The majority of you and me. Because I would hope that we have so many Europeans in this section that maybe one or two of them may look in, if even from the bushes. Thank you, Maria, so much. Maria worked so very hard dropping links to ensure that someone, anyone might want to support the channel, support me. And supporting me is supporting the channel. And do understand, likes are well needed to support the channel. That is the number one way to support the channel. Likes and conversations in the chats and comments. It shows YouTube the engagement. Does not matter how many engage, if you engage. They just need to see the engagement. I'm honored when you guys type in. Truly I am. When you're a part of the conversation, when you hit the like button, when you leave a comment or an emoji to show engagement. You can have 1 million people and 200 likes and 5 comments Something's wrong with that picture. Regina said, it reminds me of the books and so-called scientific data that was being done to indigenous people of all races, with the exception Anglo-Saxon. Analytics research is necessary, but it's flawed. And that's so very true, because it goes by the ones whose opinion is behind the pen that's being written. And that's why the Honorable Noble Drew Ali said that in order to change the mind of the people, you must change the literature in which they read. And there are so many polls, just like the Gallup poll. They love to talk about the Gallup, but the Gallup has never contacted me. Who are they polling? Who's giving the opinions? Who's giving us? I'm talking about in today's time, what we think and how we act and respond. And here we go, Regina. Data on marginalized groups. Between 11% and 28% of lesbian, gay, and bisexual employees lost a promotion due to their sexual orientation. Center for American Progress. That's where they got that information from. 27% of transgender employees were fired, not hired, or denied a promotion. Center for American Progress. About 42% of American women reported discrimination at work due to their gender. The Pew Research Center. American women were nearly 3 times more likely than their male counterparts to experience sexual harassment at work. Pew Research Center. Over 80,000 workplace discrimination charges are filed annually in the United States, and that is the NCBI. In the United States, 42% of employees have experienced or witnessed racism at work, and that's Glassdoor. And Regina is reminding you all that we're discussing data in marginal groups. And again, this information that I seek from YouTube is used under the copyright laws that gives us the opportunity to use the information. And some of the actual photos and videos under the Fair Use Act. Okay, and so these are the marginalized groups by numbers. That's what I just read off. Up to 28% of the LGBT employees have lost the promotion due to their sexual orientation. 42% of American women reported discrimination at work due to their gender. American women are 3 times more likely than men to experience sexual harassment at work. 80,000 workplace discrimination charges are filed in the U.S. every year, and 42% of U.S. employees have experienced racism at work. The impact of marginalization on mental health. Marginalization at work has serious consequences for mental, physical, and emotional health. Work social setting and activities become a source of anxiety, leading to more feelings of isolation. Feelings of not being valued or respected are common outcomes for those in marginalized groups. It impacts the trust between leaders and colleagues and even quality of work. The last thing you want is a hard-working, well-rounded employee handing in their resignation due to unregulated discrimination at the office. And as I shared a little earlier, we have a beautiful, beautiful Asiatic female that went a little bit further because she could not take the harassment and the bullying that she was receiving at the university in which she worked. Helpful tips for leaders. Educate yourself. You don't have to be an expert in the plight of the marginalized. Brush up on the history of marginalized communities, particularly those that your employees connect to. Then you, as the leader, will be prepared to act from a place of understanding. See something, say something. As a leader, it is your job to call out marginalizing behavior. Some people may not even be aware that they are subtly discriminating against others. This practice also lets marginalized employees know that the behavior was noticed and will not be tolerated. I have a real big issue with the people that don't recognize that they're subtly discriminating. It's like a lot of the issues when you see these people on jobs and they mistreat one race of people, and they always come back with that, we need more training. You don't need training to talk to another human being. You learn that from home and through all of your education. Nothing should, if you see a woman and you're a woman, nothing should make you have to go and learn how to talk to another woman or a man. If you're the mother of a boy child, or you grew up with a brother or a father or an uncle, went to school with other boys. We learn how to talk to humans from the time we start talking. All of this sensitivity training only comes when we're at the brunt of the abuse. Isn't it amazing? We don't have all of these stories of where we're doing the abusing of individuals that abuse us. We don't have those stories. I don't say that they don't exist, but they're certainly not the evening news. Break it down. If you're speaking with an employee that does not understand why their behavior was inappropriate, take a moment to break it down. Explain how their actions perpetuate the marginalization of their colleagues and how to best avoid those behaviors in the future. Provide additional support. Create open dialogue, a safe space, and support for employees to discuss their experiences with marginalization. Communication is always good, and especially if you can have an adult conversation. And the majority of us that I noticed as a people, even in the writing, are emotional beings, and we don't deal with things from a business perspective. It's mainly how we feel. And unfortunately, in business, in law, in policy, they don't really take into consideration our feelings. So our feelings have not a place. And I'm really one to talk because I'm one of those drama queens that get to hollering loud when I disagree. And then, I hear a lot of loud jokes about, that's normally the dumbest person in the room or whatever. And that may be true to some degree. But a lot of it is what we've known, and that's how we've been able to make it to where we are today. But we have to use other mechanisms because there are other ways. And we were taught very young how to communicate, and then that teaching was taken from us because it was called respect. So as a child, you had not a chance in heaven to voice an opinion to an adult. Whatever you thought, you better keep it to yourself. And whatever emotions you thought you were feeling, you better not show it on your face. And bet not mean better not. You know, we like to cut words off. We've done that all our lives, and I'm certainly no different. They tell me I go into proper to country in the same sentence, and I do. Done it all my life. What you see is truly what you get, and what you hear right now, because you can't see me. Regina said marginalization in the workplace is number one on a person's mental state. This leads into a discussion. Does working in an office space in cubicles actually create productive workers? The answer to that for me would be no. I don't know. What do you guys think? Do anybody have any input they want to put on that? Regina asked the question. Does working in an office space in cubicles actually create productive workers? I would say no, because I used to go to work when I had to go in downtown, and I promise you, for the majority of the day, I moved one stack of papers from the left side of my desk to another stack to the right side of my desk. That same stack, I just take the papers and hit them on the desk and move them over, and then I take them and move them over, and I take them, and really my intent was to be working, but I don't know anything I got done. I didn't actually start working until it was time for me to get off work, and I was oftentimes in the office alone a lot because I'd sit there and work. But I don't think that it makes you more productive. What do you guys think? Hey. I am Jay. Hey. Everybody be sure and hit the like button. I greatly appreciate it. Commit to inclusion publicly. Let it be known office-wide that marginalizing behaviors will not be tolerated under any circumstances. This is best done face-to-face, but diversity commitments can also be communicated through your website, internal and external emails, and other forms of communication. Hold a workshop. Sometimes an office-wide announcement or conference isn't enough. Participating in a workshop centered around the marginalized experience provides a more tangible understanding of what it is like to be oppressed and why it is never okay to marginalize another individual or group. Be rid of implicit biases. Taking the implicit bias test is a great way to understand your biases so that you can begin to rid yourself of them. Have your employees take the test and discuss the results. Then, learn how to mitigate your implicit biases. And I don't know who wrote the test and who came up with the test. Regina is letting us know, commit to inclusion publicly. Diversity inclusion can be done via company website, handbook. Boy, Regina, you are cold-blooded. Internal and external emails. The key, continuous communication with employees, team building workshops. I know I'm helping somebody, be it in the bushes or in the chat. I know this information is priceless. Don't marginalize, magnify. The contributions of marginalized employees often go unnoticed. Highlight the achievements of your employees. Show that you value their contributions and hard work. Resources for marginalized employees. Along with your support, provide resources to help your employees feel heard, seen, and supported. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission The EEOC enforces federal laws that protect job applicants and employees against discrimination on the basis of race, religion, age, disability, sex, etc. The Latino Equality Alliance. This intersectional organization advocates for the equity, safety, and wellness of LGBTQ plus members in the Latinx community. I didn't know they had a Latinx community, whatever that is. You learn something new every day. You know, I think more and more, I be getting so tongue-tied lately. I don't know if it is with the age and the teeth, because, when you have teeth, your teeth kind of stops the tongue from doing some weird things. But child, lately, I don't know what it is. I just be messing up words left and right. And, sometimes that shit is funny, but sometimes it's not. I'll be like, in my mind, wondering what's going on in my brain. Is everything all right sometimes? Because I used to really be a wordsmith, and I tell you, words was very important to me, and how you pronounce them was very important to me. But I have to laugh at myself now. So I just ask y'all to forgive me when you see me stumbling and all that stuff. I mean, it is what it is, and it is live. National Alliance on Mental Illness. NAMI focuses on the millions of Americans who are impacted by mental illness and strives to help them better their lives. And you can look these things up on Google. And they have websites and they have phone numbers. And some of them help people that are in the marginalized groups. So you don't have a lot of income. You may not have insurance. It's help available. But you got to reach out for the help. And then you got to know what help you're reaching out to. Because remember, I just did a whole series on the breakdown of the Asiatic people that call themselves Black's family. And it was the adoption system through CPS. And now they don't just remove kids from the home because of abuse. That used to be the number one reason. Now it's neglect. And they determine what's neglect. So you got to be careful. You got to be wise. You got to use discernment. Greg tells me that all the time. Mama, you got to use discernment. Discernment, knowing who and what to say, who to say it to, when to say it, how to say it, when not to say. I had to learn that the hard way here on YouTube. Trusting people that came as they were, saying that they came to help. They came in peace, but no, they didn't. And I really do come in peace, but I am willing to go to war for what I believe in. That's a saying my nephew always used. He doesn't bother anybody. I come in peace, but I will go to war. And whatever the issue is, we're going to address it today. We're not going to wait for tomorrow. We're going to address it now. Tomorrow may give you a little bit more, nerves than you had today. So we don't let anything brew. Regina said, we have moved into a new working era. Actually, this happened over 10 years ago. However, companies did not want to change, especially older companies. Exception, manufacturing, remote work is a must. And that's so true. A lot of companies swore that they were not going to transition, that a lot of the work could not be done from home. But we see what happened when they gave us this big, great mystery that happened between 20 and 22. And the whole world has changed. Jobs that you knew that the people would never work from home are now working at home. A lot of your doctors are working from home. Your surgeons may be in the hospital. It's amazing the jobs that can now be done from home that we were told would never be done from home. All of these are actually business decisions. And they always were. And they were capable. But it didn't fit the business plan. The business plan has definitely changed dramatically. And it's ever changing. Job Accommodation Network provides free guidance for those working toward practical workplace accommodations for people with disabilities. JAN, as it's called, helps employees and employers realize the value and talent of people with disabilities. And there is a lot of talent of people with disabilities. GLAD is an acronym, is a media-focused organization that affects cultural change surrounding the LGBTQ plus acceptance. They provide a list of political, bisexual, youth, military, transgender, aging, legal, and general resources for the LGBTQ plus members. National Association to Advance Fat Acceptance. Lord, have I heard that word a lot since I've been on YouTube. I've been every fat thing that you could be called. NAFA works to end daily discrimination against overweight people. The organization believes that all people deserve respect, and fat people should be able to live their lives freely. I agree. That is the end of marginalization. So I went and got some statistics, of course, for affirmative action. This is based on race, and this is the impact that it has on us now. And this is by race. I think I only did 2 categories. Of course, they have many. And on the marginalization, did I go and tell where I got that information from? Because it came different. It came from Culture Alley. I just looked up on Google the definition, and it came from Cultural Alley. I like to give credit to where credit is due. Affirmative action for race. The percentage was up from 47% in 2001, 49% in 2003, and 50% in 2005. That was the News Gallup 2005. A study from 2006 to 2010 found that from 1,109,775 in U.S. chief executive positions, 86.57 were whites, and 13.43 were a minority. So it was all different minorities. And that's from the MN Government 2006 to 2010. "58% of Americans support affirmative action programs for racial minorities. Even most whites, 51%, support affirmative action, although the percentage is dramatically lower than African Americans, 76%. Gallup 2017. Support for government intervention in improving the social and economic positions of minorities has dwindled by more than 10% in some minority races since 2004. That's the OECD.org, 2011. The median income for whites in the United States is over $44,000 per household, but it is less than $30,000 for African American households. So that means the majority of us make less than $30,000 the household. The poverty rate for African Americans is nearly triple that of whites of the whole population. And that's EPI.org 2020. So this is not no 1960 data. And like Regina said, we really like to know who's doing all of this statistical taking. But you best believe we can see the difference in our daily lives, in the activities that we're allowed to participate in. Regina said, however, now we have also moved into a new era of discrimination. Everything from the kitchen sink have popped up over some form of discrimination against something. It can be a very fine line, and that is so true, Regina. "62% of American adults favor affirmative action for minority groups." Gallup 2021. For the first time in the last 5 years, CFOs are more racially and ethnically diverse than CEOs. And that's Chris Calder Associates 2021. And CFOs are chief financial officers, where the CEOs are chief executive officers. The number of Hispanic CEOs has doubled in the last 10 years, yet black CEOs remain stagnant. Chris Calder Associates 2021. Between 2020 and 2021, black CFOs have nearly doubled. Chris Calder Associates 2021. The majority, or 89.6% of C-suite executives, are Caucasian. Black executives constitute 2%. Hispanics are 2.3%. And 6.1% are Asian. We're at the bottom of the totem pole. Chris Calder Associates 2021. The median income per household in 2021 for all races was $70,784. Asian households had income of $101,418. White families made $77,999. Hispanic households got $57,981, and black families had income of $48,297. U.S. Census Bureau 2022. A woman of color holds only 1 in 20 executive positions, and that's McKinsey and Company 2023. And here is affirmative action for women. Affirmative action for women. A study from 2006 to 2010 found that from 1,109,775 chief executive positions in the U.S., 77.95 were male and 22.5 female. And that's the MNGov 2006-2010. In comparison to men, women are 24% more likely to lose their jobs permanently. Catalyst 2021. Women are less likely than men to participate in labor force around the world. International Labor Organization 2020. In 2020, globally, less than half of the women, 46.9%, participated in the workforce in 2010. That number went down from 51% in 1990. Data World Bank 2021. Men made up nearly 3/4 of the workforce, 74%, down from 80.2% in 1990. Data World Bank 2021. Women accounted for 38.8% of all labor force participation. Data World Bank 2021. In 2020, women held 20.6% of the board of directors positions globally, up from 20.0% in 2019. And that's MSCI.com 2020. 41 million men, 1.5%, offer full-time unpaid care globally, compared to 606 million, 21.7% women. International Labor Organization 2019. In comparison to fathers and women without children, mothers are less likely to be employed. International Labor Organization 2019. Women spend an average of 4 hours and 22 minutes a day in unpaid labor worldwide, compared to only 2 hours and 15 minutes for males. OECD Stat 2021. The U.S. is the only OECD member country that does not require paid family leave. OECD.org 2020. With a median leave of 98 days, maternity leave is available in 184 economies. Worldbank.org 2019. Paternity leave is provided in 105 countries with an average leave of 5 days. Worldbank.org 2019. Women and minorities are underrepresented in business opportunities in almost every industry that contracts with the government. College-educated African American women, and that's where I was telling y'all how they separate us from being women. So you have to be careful when you're jumping on the women train unless you understand what the issues are that you're fighting for. Because they say women and minorities and then come back and say college-educated African American women make nearly $20,000 less per year than white men who have the same degree. And that's from Harvard Business Review 2021. If U.S. women were paid for the housework and caregiving, they would have earned $1.5 trillion globally. They would have made $10.9 trillion, the New York Times 2020. 88% of the CEO, CFO, and the COO, Chief Operating Officer, positions are held by men, whereas women have only 11.2%. Chris Calder Associates 2021. 74% of mothers wouldn't have any savings if they took 8 weeks of unpaid maternity leave. Breeze 2022. Almost half of the women would take a 5% cut to get 8 weeks of paid maternity leave. Breeze 2022. And there were many others on the list, but those are the ones that I chose to do for tonight. I really would love to hear some of you all's opinions, but I guess it's just good enough to have you here. But it really would be good to have engagement on your opinions on what do you think about some of these things that are facing us, and did you have knowledge of them or not? Did you know of these type of statistics that were taking place, in our little old world today? Do we really understand what's before us and what's against us? I don't think a lot of us really understand who the real enemy is. I think a lot of us think that we're each other's enemy. And perhaps we show that, or we act like we are, but I would venture to say that we're not anywhere close. I did a thing also on harassment in the workplace, and I'm going to cover that, and then we'll bring this to a close because we have so much to cover. And I'm just happy that you guys are interested in enough to sit through and listen and participate when you want to. But it's very helpful to hear everybody's ideas and opinions. It really helps. So I said, unfortunately, I did and do know the numbers. And it is something that we have to say, unfortunately, isn't it? Regina said, question, are you seeing a decline or an increase of fair practices in today's data analytics, which have implemented practices, old and new? I would have to say, as far as me answering that question, and then let me finish it first. Removal of affirmative action, good and helping against fairness. I really never really even paid attention to the data before now. Even when I started on my journey 10 years ago, I was really just studying Asiatic history, and all I was interested in is finding out information about birthright, because I didn't even know we had a birthright. The only issue I'd ever heard of in conversation of a birthright was with Esau and Jacob, to be real honest. And then the only president that I ever heard mention birthright was the one that everybody loved to hate, and that's Trump. And I noticed every country that he visited, he spoke to the unalienable rights of an individual in a nation and the birthright of the people, and that's what everybody was fighting for, their right to be. And that really stuck with me. But I was never really into the statistics and things like that, because everything to me that had to do with us as a people was so unfair. I really couldn't even emotionally handle dealing with it or learning about it. It wasn't until my son went off to school and came back and started sharing with me things that he had learned. And we send them to school to learn, and then they come and try to tell us what they learned, and 9 times out of 10 we don't want to hear it. I was one of those people, but he continued to talk to me, as he had been given the right to do all of his life, to freely talk to me, even though sometimes he still was afraid because of my tone of voice. But he would still be the man that he's become to be, and he would still talk to me, and I would hear him, and we had conversations, and then that led me into my journey. So I think that this very crazy about this affirmative action and how they're getting rid of everything when it was supposed to be for one set of people, but it ended up not being ours anyway, because they started giving it to everybody that we've named, when it was done for actually the Negro, as they called us, the colored, as they called us, and the nigger, as they called us. All of those names is what they called us. And so it was done for us. But we are, as I read, the lowest on the totem pole. And now in our next affirmative action lesson, we're going to find out how the Supreme Court struck it down. And as I looked at some of those statistics of the people in that data, a lot of us as a people were against affirmative action, and I don't understand that. I never will, but perhaps they have a reason for their belief system. I don't know. I don't get it, but they did. And let's go here. A lot of people have a misconception about the law, and I'm not an attorney, nor do I profess to be. I don't practice law, I just read it. And what I've learned is, what we think we know, we don't know. And a lot of things that we think is fair is not fair. All things that we think that are not fair may be fair. But this is harassment. And all of this comes under that same affirmative action that comes under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. But I'm going to read you this information. And I think I'll make this kind of big, because I don't know if you guys can see this. I won't be able to see you guys writing, but I'll see it when I finish. I want you all to see this. This is an official website of the United States government. And here's how you know. And you can hit this, and it'll let you know how you know. This is official. This is nothing that I put together. U.S. Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. It's so very easy to find out how things work. And a lot of people don't understand that unless you qualify for these entitlements, they do not apply to everybody in the United States. Employer coverage. You got to have 15 or more employees under Title VII, and the ADA has to be 20 or more employees under the ADA for this law to apply to you. Now, you don't have to take my word for it. It's written right here, but if you need more detail, you can go into the website and it'll explain it exactly. So you don't have to take Toothless word for it. I didn't invent the truth or the law. I'm just not ashamed to tell what I've learned. Nor am I afraid. harassment. The EEOC issued its enforcement guide on harassment in the workplace on September 29, 2023 for 30 days public comment through November 1st, 2023. The comments provided during that time can be found at this website. Harassment is a form of employment discrimination that violates Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, the Age Discrimination in Employment Act of 1967, and the ADEA and the Americans with Disabilities Act of 1990, the ADA. Harassment is a form of employment discrimination that violates these things I just read that. Harassment is unwelcome conduct that is based on race, color, religion, sex, including sexual orientation, gender identity, or pregnancy, national origin, older age, beginning at age 40, disability, or genetic information, including family medical history. Harassment becomes unlawful where 1. Enduring the offensive conduct becomes a condition of continued employment, or 2. The conduct is severe or pervasive enough to create a work environment that a reasonable person would consider intimidating, hostile, or abusive. Anti-discrimination laws also prohibit harassment against individuals in retaliation for filing a discrimination charge, testifying, or participating in any way in an investigation, proceeding, or lawsuit under these laws, or opposing employment practices that they reasonably believe discriminate against individuals in violation of these laws. Petty slights, annoyances, and isolated incidents, unless extremely serious, will not rise to the level of illegality. To be unlawful, the conduct must create a work environment that would be intimidating, hostile, or offensive to reasonable people. Also, when I told you the people that are covered under these laws, also there are time limits. For regular individuals, 180 days to file a charge. May be extended by state laws. Regular individuals mean private companies that have 15 employees or more. For federal employees, have 45 days to contact an EEO counselor. One thing you learn, you have to get permission to sue anybody, and the EEO has to investigate in order to give you that permission. Once they do their investigation, and they have several investigations, and once they give you approval, you will get a letter saying that you have the right to sue. If you get a letter saying you have the right to sue, then you can pursue the individual. Of course, if it's not a union, it's so many different variables goes to that. But let's go back over here to the harassment. And we just read about the petty slights. Offensive conduct may include, but is not limited to, offensive jokes, slurs, epithets, or name-calling, physical assaults or threats, intimidation, ridicule or mockery, insults or put-downs, offensive objects or pictures, and interference with work performance. Harassment can occur in a variety of circumstances, including but not limited to the following. The harasser can be the victim's supervisor, a supervisor in another area, an agent of the employer, a co-worker, or a non-employee. The victim does not have to be the person harassed, but can be anyone affected by the offensive conduct. Unlawful harassment may occur without economic injury to or discharge of the victim. Prevention is the best tool to eliminate harassment in the workplace. Employers are encouraged to take appropriate steps to prevent and correct unlawful harassment. They should clearly communicate to employees that unwelcome harassing conduct will not be tolerated. They can do this by establishing an effective complaint or grievance process, providing anti-harassment training to their managers and employees, and taking immediate and appropriate action when an employee complains. Employers should strive to create an environment in which employees feel free to raise concerns and are confident that those concerns will be addressed. Employees are encouraged to inform the harasser directly that the conduct is unwelcome and must stop. Employees should also report harassment to management at an early stage to prevent its escalation. Employer liability for harassment. The employer is automatically liable for harassment by a supervisor that results in a negative employment action such as termination, failure to promote or hire, and loss of wages. If the supervisor's harassment results in a hostile work environment, the employer can avoid liability only if it can prove that, number one, it reasonably tried to prevent and promptly correct the harassing behavior, and number two, the employee unreasonably failed to take advantage of any preventive or corrective opportunities provided by the employer. The employer will be liable for harassment by non-supervisory employees or non-employees over whom it has control, e.g., independent contractors or customers on the premises. So you got to be on the premises in the place where the person is in order for these things to take effect, as well as have more than 15 employees. If it knew or should have known about the harassment and failed to take prompt and appropriate corrective action. When investigating allegations of harassment, the EEOC looks at the entire record, including the nature of the conduct and the context in which the alleged incident occurred. A determination of whether harassment is severe or pervasive enough to be illegal is made on a case-by-case basis. So everybody's case is important, and that's why they should file for an investigation, because we have the right to do that. So you should file for an investigation and let the experts in that field tell you if you can or cannot move forward if you do or do not have a legitimate complaint. When investigating allegations of harassment, the EEOC looks at the entire record. I think I just read that. If you believe that the harassment you are experiencing or witnessing is of a specifically sexual nature, you may want to see EEO's information on sexual harassment. The EEOC invites the public to comment. Same rules apply. 15 or more employees. 180 days to file a charge. And that's the complaint with EEO. It is unlawful to harass a person, an applicant or employee, because of that person's sex. Harassment can include sexual harassment or unwelcome sexual advances, requests for sexual favors, and other verbal or physical harassment of a sexual nature. Harassment does not have to be of a sexual nature, however, can include offensive remarks about a person's sex. For example, it is illegal to harass a woman by making offensive comments about women in general. Both victim and harasser can be either a woman or a man, and the victim and harasser can be the same sex. Although the law doesn't prohibit simple teasing, offhand comments, or isolated incidents that are not very serious, harassment is illegal when it is so frequent or severe that it creates a hostile or offensive work environment, or when it results in an adverse employment decision, such as the victim being fired or demoted. The harasser can be the victim's supervisor or supervisor in another area, a co-worker, or someone who is not an employee of the employer, such as a client or a customer. For more information, it gives you the fact sheets for sexual harassment, Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 64, Regulations 25 CFR Part 160411, Policy and Guidelines and Statistics. So there is so much. There is so much that we could learn, we need to learn. Hi, Alam Nettie. Greetings, and thank you for coming. I hope I didn't assassinate your name. I'm not doing well with my pronunciations lately. Regina said, yes, affirmative action was originally created for us, aka black people, aka indigenous people. However, if it is a law, the job of a lawyer is to use it as they deem fit. AA does not mention blacks only. That's true. And that's how they do it, as they deem fit. You see, that doesn't mention black only, but what it lets you know how things have come about is when you go back to the 13th and the 14th Amendment, which the 14th Amendment was created for the Negro. But now everybody claims right to the 14th Amendment, due process. It's the clause that we all claim. But it was actually written for the Negro. And then Title 25 was actually written for the indigenous people, which they call the Indian people, the natives of the land. And Title 25, you have to really search to find that title. But it is real. And it gives them all of their rights. And when they started mingling with the people of European descent and started looking totally different than just like us, the copper-colored people, then they started going against us and signing treaties that we cannot get a dime of the monies that they receive annually as the natives. We are the natives, the indigenous people of the land. We are all one and the same, but of course nobody wants to believe that, and therein lies the problem. How do you conquer the people? You divide them. That's how one or two people controls all the people. When we sent people to Congress, when we sent them to the state legislators as well as the federal, we didn't send them to take over us. They were supposed to represent us, because it's just like when you're sick and your loved one is sick. Maybe you're not sick, it's your loved one. And there are siblings, and there are nieces and nephews, and then there are even children. Well, the doctor can't talk to everybody, because everybody's going to have a different opinion, a different idea, and a different emotion. So you pick a person to speak on behalf of the family. And that's what we did. Supposedly from each state, we picked certain representatives to speak on behalf of the people of that country, that state, that nation of people. And unfortunately, what happened is a coup d'etat took place. The Organic Act of Congress. And we should read the Organic Act of Congress in 1871. We don't make this stuff up. It's just not kosher to teach the truth. I'm not trying to be a martyr for people who don't even like me. People don't even respect my existence. It's just my purpose and my reasonable service to share what I've been given. And that's what I do. I think about the Congresswoman and all the years she gave to Washington. and to us here in Texas. And she only had one child. And I think about my son, all of the giving that I do and sacrificing I do for others, not getting the same in return, not even looking for the same in return. But what I had to have him sacrifice because of my desire to give and help others. And he never held it against me. And that warms my heart. Hi, Howard Tyler. How you doing? Good to see you. I think you came in last time right before we were getting ready to go. Good to see you anytime. I just hope you guys hit the like button. And at any point in time that you guys believe in what I believe in, a workman is worthy of his hire, you can always hit the Cash App, or you can hit the little $, and you can hit the Super Chat. And it is your choice, your desire. Never force. If you show up and just show out by speaking like you did and hitting the like button, you have warmed my heart. Do know that. But I am monetized, and some of my videos do not get advertisement. But I figured out why. Because YouTube have a lot of new rules. And sometimes it feels like they're picking on me, just me. But no, they're not. You know, there are a lot of things that go on YouTube that I still encourage anybody. If you have a talent, if you have a hobby that you love, you could actually come to YouTube and make it another stream of income for you. And you can do that just by a camera and whatever it is you love to do. There is an audience for everything. There are billions of people that look at YouTube. Now, I ended up in an area, and it's the entertainment section, so I don't know how you deviate from it, where it's a lot of craziness. But when I look at some of the bigger people, craziness is everywhere. So I can't control craziness. I can't control who choose to come in and who choose not to. When I came, I just came to share me and my story. Didn't know who would come and who wouldn't. And I've been truly blessed with a few good people that have been with me from day one and are here right now. I've had many come and go, and they're all gone. And I have no complaints. None whatsoever. I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing as much as I can. I don't have strength and energy a lot. That's because I don't have it. My heart beats at 35% is its function. And I live with a pacemaker that I've had for 40 years now. And I take heart medication now. But I drink my coffee and I smoke my cool filter kings, and that brings me pleasure. And a lot of people have an issue with that. Oh well. Have your issues. I live life, and I live life more abundantly, and I'm broke as all outdoors and don't have nothing but me and a big heart and a all that looks out for me. A son that loves me and go to bat for me. A sister and a nephew that lives here and take care of me. I couldn't ask for a better life. I really couldn't. I'm truly grateful for the opportunity to talk to you all. I really am. And I'm more reserved when I'm doing my show than when I'm really just being the ghetto girl that I am from the heart of Oak Cliff, Texas. Love every minute of being who I am. It's been a great journey. Great journey. I love Me some me. And I've been doing a lot of hatred on this app, but it is well with the sister. It is well. I heard Willie D. He did an interview with Cat Williams, and people were criticizing him. I think everybody should go and look at that interview. I mean, the one that he had with Cat was awesome. But the one that he had speaking to these haters remind me of people here that I know. They supposed to have far more people than me, but they're telling people to unsubscribe, stay away, don't mess with her. And people really are actually stupid enough to listen to these people. It is really something to me that these grown men and women walk around talking about, I got them in a RICO case. I wished I could have them in a RICO case. They would be, but I can't put nobody in no RICO case. They are upset because one man lied to them and they paid, well, two men lied to them and they paid them big dollars to laugh at my pain as they degraded me and called me all kind of fat, nasty, everything you could think of, bald-headed, no teeth. I came here shaving my own head, and I chose to take my teeth out of my mouth because I could. But they chose to laugh, and it was funny. And the people say, you need to get over it. I am over it, but I talk about me anytime I get ready. And anybody who don't want to hear it, bye. That's in my real everyday life. And I hold no grudges, believe it or not. They say Scorpios hold grudges. I don't hold no grudges. I'm going to talk about whatever I want to, and especially if it affects me. You can believe that. I'm going to talk about it until I can't think of it no more. And I haven't had something that happened to me yet that I can't think of. I was blessed with the ability to do that. But I hold no grudges, have no animus toward no one. I learned, though, when I go into chats now, and since no one seems to want to show me the respect that they used to, people that I speak to and they don't speak back, I don't speak to those people. You're not important. You tell a great story. You know, it's just like people love using my words. I don't have a problem with that. I have some profound words that need to be said over and over and over again. I just have integrity, and I give people honor and credit when I use their stuff. A lot of these people don't know anything about that. They're completely bankrupt of integrity and honor, respect for themselves, and so I know they can't have any for me. But all these people running around telling people, going in the chats, people I just visited, don't know anything about these people. Do you know Tupac Tiger? She got me in a RICO charge. A man named Thug Life Manning said that. That's the farthest thing from the truth that I've ever heard. He's a liar, and the truth is not in him. And I would have loved to have told him behind the scenes, but I didn't get that opportunity. And he may never hear this, but let it be known that it was said. See, I want the record to reflect. I don't have a problem being me. Not at all. And since I don't have a problem with being me, I think I need to let y'all see me. Hello, everybody. This is Toothless here, and I'm real about what I'm saying. Make no mistake about it. I did 3 charts of 3 ruthless men that have ruthless chats, and those people that I listed are the ones who was carrying out their leaders' bidding by following me around, by saying ugly things to me and about me. And in my mind, that's who and what they are. I don't have no RICO case. Regina said, wait, huh? You got them in a RICO case? My goodness. Now that alone should tell those that have enough sense to understand the type of mentality they listening to. Enough said. Shaking my head. No, I believe a lot of them don't really comprehend, because I truly believe a lot of these young people that spend any time of the night that I'm on YouTube, and I'm retired and I'm 65, but a lot of these people are in their 30s and 40s. The majority of these people are not even 50 or close to it. And the 2, 3, 5, or 10 that are just thrown out of their mind and say and do some of the most dastardly stuff I've ever heard in public. But no, a lot of these people, I believe, have what most call mental, I call emotional trauma. And they have not dealt with whatever traumatic events are in their lives. So they'd rather give to people as they laugh and talk about integral people. People without criminal records. People who does not have issues with children, yet they call them predatory names. Had nothing to do with my defamation case. One man said he stood with me. Now all he does is talk about me. And now he's changed the way he do business. Oh, it's amazing what happens to you on YouTube. And I allowed people to be who they say they were. And they certainly showed me they were nothing that they proclaimed to be. I am who I say I am, and I change is not. I've talked to several people, and like I told them, I've recorded several people only when necessary. And I can tell when it's necessary, when you start changing up. I hadn't talked to a whole lot, but I talked to too many. And I hope all of y'all got me on recording, because I meant every word I said at the time that I said it. If I said it, I meant that. I did what I did. I did that. And I ain't ashamed to tell it. I cried like a baby when they talked about Sister T's husband touching her grandbaby. But it hit me like, I don't know. I guess because I was molested as a kid. And when I saw that video, I didn't see molestation. I saw love. I saw a grandfather playing with his granddaughter. I saw us as a people making it illegal to love your child or your grandchild. That hurt me so. I don't even talk to Sister T anymore. And don't care why. It was through nothing I've done. I don't know anything she did. That just don't happen anymore. And I feel real good about me at all times. I have a level of respect for Queen Regina. She's full of shit in a lot of things, but she's real good in others. And everybody have the right to talk about me in whatever manner they have to, as long as they don't defame me. I don't have a problem with people having an opinion of me, because what I think of them, they may not like it either. So I ain't got no problems with nobody's opinion. I have a problem with your defamation and your lying. I may not ever get any bigger than I am today, but do y'all know that that's well with me? I can't handle much. I bought a $499 little mic when I started out and ain't used it yet. Don't even know where half of it is. And it's not a child that live in my home. I heard people talk about me and the children in my home, and they not safe. And my brother that molested me when I was a kid, some 60 years ago, might be molesting them. And my brother's been dead since 2013, and no children in my home. I've heard it all from people that don't know me, don't know themselves, being shamed every day, and they think that that's it. They with the shit. They like that. It's not enough money in this world for that kind of shit to happen to me. It is not enough money. See, there is no money. And if you don't value you, nobody else will. I don't care how many cash apps and how they give to make the haters mad. Now, I don't know who you are, Jack Efron, but let me tell you about me. I don't mind you coming in my chat, and I don't mind you being respectful. Disrespect, I don't take. Now, I don't know what you mean about you can't be serious with these comments on Sister T. I don't know what you mean by that. So if you come in respect, then you can tell me what you mean. Yeah, but I felt very hurt that she was treated that way. I don't have nothing to do with what these people say and do to each other, because that's how I got caught up in the chat that I used to be in, because people say and do all kind of shit with each other. And the next thing I know, they all best friends. Some of the stuff these people say about each other is ungodly, but that's what they choose to do. And they have the right to do that. I didn't come here to police no adults. I came here to uplift fallen humanity. And then I got a dog killer that'll come in my chat and say some of the most stupidest shit in the world. And it's funny. It ain't funny. I won $13 million. If I never collect. But see, I ain't in no hurry. Y'all are. He done pronounced me dead so many times, I'm beginning to believe he got a hit on me. And I need to talk to somebody. Because that's serious. You see, these people don't know the game they keep playing, and he done already lost. And you fools want to believe that I'm a joke. I see some of y'all coming, Asatar's chat, and shooting your little old slugs. You better shoot low, because they might be crawling. And I don't miss my target. And I don't care who you are and how big your channel is or how small. I don't mess with nobody. I don't anticipate nobody messing with me. I really don't. Asatar, you said what? At Jack, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Yeah, I don't mind nobody being respectful and asking reasonable questions. But I don't play games, and I don't do the back and forth, and I don't disrespect people. I have opinions and I speak them, and they have that very same right. That very same right. Like I said, the things these people say to each other is so ungodly, it's not even real. But yet they talk about a holy God and what all the God done for them. Bullshit. I don't know what God they talking about. You know, I really don't. But maybe they God do that. I don't know, because now people got their own God. So perhaps that's how that works. I don't know. But the disrespect is just unbelievable. And how can we raise people that we think are great and our actions are unspeakable, unthinkable? Do we really think our children are going to be different from who they see us being? Do we really think that's true? They not. But who am I and what do I know? You know, just because I live 65 years means nothing to some people. But to some people, it means everything. And I'm one of those people. I've never been so disrespected by people I don't even know in my life. I ain't even been this disrespected by people I know, and I know I done something to them. They didn't go as deep as these people go. But it's all good in the neighborhood. Because this is just YouTube, they say. We'll never see each other. Like I said, I listened to Willie D, and it reminded me so much of myself and what I've gone through. It really has. It's just the beautiful thing is that they have big platforms. But see, it means nothing about how big or how small your platform is if you don't have engagement and if you don't have people that believe in your message. And some people don't have people because of who they are and their attitude. Some could say that for me, but I know that's not the case. It is what it is with me. And I'm real all right with being me. I don't waver. I'm not a character. I don't have to get in or out. What you see is truly what you get, and that's me. And I love those that are characters because they're good. And I give credit to where credit is due. So there's nothing wrong with you being whoever you choose to be when you cut on that live button or when you just press record. There's nothing wrong with being who you are. Just know who you are. Regina said, there will always be lurkers. They lurk in chats waiting to do and say something negative to bring some form of gratification to their lives. These are strangers that do not know your journey. Lost. Regina, you are just awesome. And it's an honor to know you and not know you. I love the way you move, the way you think, and the wisdom that you impart to this chat. It's priceless. I love the way you all support me and the manner in which you support me. Madria worked 2 jobs, sick, tired, no matter her situation. She gonna do her best. If she can't stay, she gonna tune in and she gonna drop them links. And if she can't stay, it's because she's taking medication and she fell off to sleep. And she gets so mad at herself. I don't. I'm grateful. I know. I don't see her life, but I know her walk because I talk to her. And I know when she's at one job and when she's at the other. And I know when she's loving on her grandbabies. I know. She sacrificed a lot. So Alicia, I know she sacrificed a lot. She have a loss that's greater than most can ever think of, let alone endure. I shared the post of her cousin who has been missing for a while. I wish more people would look at my message and forget about their like or dislike of me. It's some great stuff that they're missing. But I wish that they could share her information about her cousin who's been missing now for 3 years. Beautiful young mother, cousin, sister, daughter, aunt, missing off the face of the earth. She has a loving family, and they'd love to know what happened, but they don't. And it pains her so, but she shows up. And if she's for you, trust me, she's for you. And she's going to do whatever she can to help you. Asatar. One of the greatest men I know. He truly thinks logic. He doesn't get caught up in emotions. I can't get him to shut up either. But he can't get me to shut up, so we understand each other. I hear a lot of people posing questions because they know how he's going to answer truthfully, but he goes in depth. And he got to say what he got to say. You ain't going to stop him. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want him any other way. He seemed to defend people that's not defendable. But he doesn't do it for them. He does it for the integrity of himself. And I can live with that. Have no problem. Just like he's got me 100, I got him 100. It's that way. And maybe him having me 100 is causing people to stay away from him. And that is a good thing. He knows it, and so do I. But when you're starting out a channel and you're all excited and you think the people that you speak to and they laugh and talk to you, you think they're really going to come support you. 9 times out of 10, those are the people that will not do it. They can't be seen in your chat. They can be seen in other people's chat, but they can't be seen in your chat. It's funny. It's funny. And it's sad that we as a people can't come together and do better. But everybody ain't going to do better because everybody don't want better. And everybody don't want to come along. And everybody ain't coming. I understand that. And I am not losing a bit of sleep about those that don't want it. It just saddens me. And it's just some, shit to talk about sometimes. Because I, do talk about shit. So that's all that is. Regina said, it's truly an honor to know and support you, Toothless Tiger. I am one that is blessed with the gift of discernment, and I saw a wonderful and good-hearted person in you. Consistency. Thank you. Don't make me start crying, because it's an honor and a pleasure when someone recognizes who I am. It touches me to my very soul. You see, I have a saying that we all fall short of other people's expectations, and sometimes even our own. And that's true. That's truly true. And like the woman in the color purple, all my life, I had to fight. May they look like me or may not look like me, I've had to fight. And I fought diligently and faithfully. All for rights. So all these people running around here talking about I got them in a RICO case. I don't have nothing to do with you in a RICO case. Wish I could. But I don't have that power. I'm not a federal prosecutor. I don't make the decisions. And trust me, if you're in a RICO case, it's because of who you're involved with and what they're involved with. Has nothing to do with me. And what I believe, the people that was harassing me, that's all I was documenting. You see, I'm a documenter and I do things different than most of you. I don't believe in all this name calling and craziness that you guys do. I really don't. And a lot of people that I have respect for get with people that maybe is not so respectable. But that's the same way they saw me when I was in people chats. And that's fine. I don't have a problem with that. I know when you're fighting for your sanity, I know that you're subject to say anything because a lot of things are being said about you. And then the next thing you know, they are all good friends. And you standing there looking crazy as hell. You better stay out of people's stuff. Mind the business that pays you or don't pay you. Mind your business. That's just a word to the wise, to the air, to the ethos. Nobody have to listen to me. Regina said those that say RICO case really need to understand and comprehend what that is and what it means. Lordy. Oh, they're dumb. I don't think some of them have the ability to comprehend. I really don't. I think the majority of these people are on SSI or unemployed. Certainly have drug and alcohol problems. And I base that on what they say about themselves and then their behaviors and their actions. But who am I and what do I know? They all think I'm broke and stuck to a chair and can't get out of bed and can't walk and can't shower. I don't know where they got all that shit from, but it sounds good to somebody. Makes for a good storyline. Might be a good movie if somebody wrote the script. But I promise you, don't none of that apply to me. I'm a big girl. That I am. And I ain't doing much to be small. Now some may say that's a problem. And it might be for them. You see, I believe in living life and living life more abundantly. And I truly believe in we all have an appointed time. I don't believe in trying to please people and miss my time. I'm talking about my time to live. As my cousin always say, I call him my full metal jacket. Simplify. He's an ex-Marine. But he's a man's man. And had a daddy that showed him how to be a man before he ever went to the service. He said, we so busy teaching people how to die, so we're not teaching them how to live. And see, I believe in living. I really do. I don't know about others. But I think I may have kept you guys enough. It's just some things I wanted to say when I think about the Congresswoman and how she's not getting the attention that her death was. I think that so many of these people who are really great content creators should be doing a story on her. But who am I and what do I know? Nobody. But I know a lot. And I'm nobody to them because I am somebody. Do believe that. Ain't no problem with my self-esteem and self-worth. They laugh and talk about my bald head when I shave it. And you see my missing hair when it grow back. You see it? That's why I keep it cut, because I don't like that look. I notice on these videos my lips look white. My lips don't be white, but they look white on the camera sometimes. Toothless, I came here toothless. I could have came in here with my teeth if I chose to. I have a choice. I have a preference. I do things my way. I care not what you see. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. Some of you are blind. The hell I look like trying to look a certain way and you can't even see. Wouldn't that be stupid? Wouldn't that be ill of me to do that? You better please yourself and know who you are. You better know all these people running around here talking about how educated and how great they are not. And they're not interested in anything but starting a YouTube channel and using you to do it. Everybody with a channel ain't going to be able to last. But I'm going to last to everybody that's been unsubscribing until they all unsubscribe. You see, when I started, I told y'all I had 3 subscribers. So as long as I got 3, I'll just do videos. And maybe one day somebody will look at it. It may not get pushed out in the algorithm, but it'll be here. And somebody, one day, will look at it. And they'll tell 2 friends. And they'll tell 2 friends. And so on, and so on. Okay, you made it back. I hope you had a beautiful time. And anybody running, tell anybody anything I said, if they don't listen to my video to hear it for themselves, I don't give a damn what they say and do. I don't play games. I've had so many videos made about me in the negative. 1 or 2 more ain't gonna hurt. They do what they do. I don't bother nobody. I don't tolerate people bothering me. I'm not a physical fighter, but I do fight. Yep, I told everybody you went to the Martin Luther King celebration at the Symphony Hall. I can't remember the name of it. I think it's Myers, but I didn't want to mispronounce it because, girl, I've been missing them words all night. I swear, y'all don't even understand how I used to correct people on words and shit, and now every other word I'm reading, I'm messing it up. It is so funny. If y'all only knew, I tell you, the ones that know me know. It's really funny. It is. But it is what it is today, and I have to live with that. You know, that comes maybe with age, maybe not. I don't know. But again, it's been a beautiful evening. I thank y'all for staying with me this long. And I'm going to get ready to bring this to a close. And Regina, thank you for coming and making this such a beautiful, beautiful show with your commentary. And we're going to be doing on Wednesday the conclusion of affirmative action, the SCOTUS decision, and that's the Supreme Court. It's SCOTUS. Their decision to bring it to an end. And Asatar, thank you for having input in the conversation. And so Alicia, Maria, Izetta, thank you for being here so much. I appreciate you. It means the world to me. And anybody that shows up, it means the world to me. All of my followers that's not here, but I know that they are here in heart, and I know that they look at my videos when they can. My members, I want to thank y'all. I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. Thank y'all so very much. I hope y'all like my new music choices I found, because I really love them. I'm going to play my greatest love song as I always do, and then I'm going to play my other new song. Regina says, sometimes we stay too long. Sometimes it takes a minute to see people for what they truly are and who they are in your life. We all have to learn the lesson of letting go of things that do not serve. That is so very true, Regina. And that's what I had to do. And I chose to do that this year. But every year we do something different, and we just have to be consistent. And Asatar said, you missed the shit out of the word hostile. And you pronounced it hostile. You know what, Asatar? I'm going to give you that because I don't know if that's true or false. I have to go back and listen, but I know you probably telling the truth. I messed up so many words. It's funny. I mean, really, man, you know, all I can do is just do it, you know. It is what it is. You should hear Willie D when he tell them people about talking about he messed up a word. But that was a good interview. I loved it when he was talking to the haters. Yeah, I loved it. Regina, my say I'm lying. Oh, Regina M, say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. He love to say I'm lying. You lying. I say it for you, Regina. You lying. He said that in his chat the other morning. Say I'm lying. Say I'm lying. I said I'm lying. I said you lying. He talking about, Tupless, you say I'm lying? Yes. But you probably ain't lying now. I'm, you know, you're a truthful guy. So I'm going to take your word for it. I really am. I believe you because I messed up so many words. I just know you ain't lying about that. Nah, you ain't lying. I tell you that. Man, I tell you, it's funny. But you know, those are the things that keep me human. So, you know, I'm real all right with that. I did that. I say, hustle, huh? Help me. Keep me lifted. That's all I can say. And as I said, we're going to end now. I thank everybody for being here and staying here. Please hit the like button. And if you would, sometimes just go in the comments. And if you don't want to write nothing, just hit an emoji. It'll really help. You said hustle. What is that? Oh, hustle. Okay. What is that? I realized you were trying to say. That's tough. I'm finna give you some master heads on that. Cause see, Lord knows if you said that, I must have really messed up. I must have really messed up. But anywho, everybody have a good night. Let me cut off my camera. I believe the children are our future. Teach them well and let them lead the way. Show them all the beauty they possess inside. Give them a sense of pride to make it easier. Let the children's laughter remind us who we used to be. Everybody's searching for a hero. People need someone to look up to. I never found anyone to fulfill my needs. A lonely place to be. So I learned to depend on me. I decided long ago never to walk in anyone's shadow. If I failed, if I succeed, at least I'll live as I believe. No matter what they take from me, they can't take away my dignity, because the greatest love of all is happening to me. I found the greatest love of all inside of me. The greatest love of all is easy to achieve. Learning to love yourself is the greatest love of all. And if by chance that special place that you've been dreaming of takes you to a lonely place, find yourself in love. Before I go, let me say thank you to the people that blessed me this week with Cash Apps. You never know how you make one feel when they don't even know. Yet while they're sleeping, you're thinking of them. So I want to thank you all for blessing me, and let me just thank you properly. I also like to mention Ryan Road, who I love dearly and I talk to often. I don't see him in the chat much, but he's always around. I know he worked and he take care of those boys and his beautiful, 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 beautiful wife. So I thank you guys for supporting me. I thank y'all very much. And if it's anybody that feel I offended them for being me, you're forgiven. I forgave you for offending me, for being me. So do know that anybody that I offended was never my intention. Those that I offended on purpose, you know who you are. You know who you are. And I did that. I don't hold grudges. So all is forgiven. I may not ever talk to you again. Who knows, I might. Chances are great I won't. Because you did that. Those things that you've done. So we all right. Whether you care for me or not. And remember, if I'm in somebody's chat, I'm not speaking to you. Because you're not greater than me. And your speaking don't mean nothing if it's not sincere. So if I speak to you and you don't speak back, I won't be speaking to you until you speak to me. I was taught when you enter a room, you speak. But you don't have to me. I'm real all right. It's so little things that bother me here on YouTube now that I know the game of YouTube. I'm not bothered by it. So anything you think you're doing and saying that will unmove me, it won't. I could say all that stuff. I just choose not to. Now, I do have another channel. It's just entertainment. Unapologetically toothless. And you may hear me say some of those things. You may not. It's whatever I choose to do. You will hear the voices of some of the people that turned on me and think it's funny. And they get their money while making the haters mad. And I don't know who the haters are. I don't know nothing nobody on this YouTube got that I want. I was born with this heart. I don't even want your heart. I've lived 65 years with mine. So I'm all right. Everybody be blessed. And I hope to see you Wednesday in the Tiger's Den.